Check out my thoughts on why neoliberalism and so-called free trade as a way to stop a war just doesn't work. And be sure to leave your comments, ding the bell, share this with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. I find it absolutely fascinating that democracies don't go to war with each other. Now, this democratic peace theory is actually fairly controversial. You know, in the 80s and 90s, it was used, the idea that democracies don't go to war with each other. This actually in 2002, that theory was used by George W. Bush and Dick Cheney to justify the invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq, saying if we take over these countries and we turn them into democracies, because democracies don't go to war with each other, we will bring peace to the Middle East. Now, the problem is you can't impose a democracy, right? But that democratic peace theory was actually used to justify two wars, two illegal wars. So there's that. The other argument that's been made against the democratic peace theory is that the reason democracies don't go to war with each other is not because they're both democracies and therefore, you know, and by the way, they're defining democracies as countries that where the will of the majority of the people is what happens, where you have multiple political parties, including opposition parties, and where you have a free press. And so the second argument, and it's kind of an argument against democratic peace theory that was adopted by neoliberals, including the DLC, the whole, you know, from Bill Clinton to George Herbert Walker Bush and Ronald Reagan, they were all saying the same thing, is that it's not that democracies don't go to war with each other because people won't vote for war. It's the reason democracies don't go to war with each other is because they have shared interests. They trade with each other. And therefore, if you want to have peace in the world, you have to have world trade. And this was the sales pitch that Reagan and Bush the Elder and Bill Clinton brought to us, and that was continued by George W. Bush and Barack Obama. In fact, with the whole TPP, was that you don't have to have democracies. If you don't want to have a war with China, just trade with them a lot, and you'll never have a war with them. Now, I think, you know, time is telling us that that's a false theory, just like Bush and Cheney's theory that you could, you know, bomb Iraq and Afghanistan into democracy and therefore they would become peaceful, was a false theory. And what that leaves us with is Immanuel Kant's original theory of the democratic peace theory. But in this context, to the extent that Donald Trump is promoting authoritarianism around the world, he's embracing people who are rejecting democracy or have already rejected democracy, like El-Sisi in Egypt, or Erdogan in Turkey, or Putin in Russia, or in China, Chairman Xi, or President Xi, I guess his title is now. That by embracing these people and also by the United States no longer operating under democratic principles, that is to say, the will of the majority does not get made into law in the United States. And the Supreme Court just made that situation worse, and I would say that the Supreme Court is the main reason why this is the case, that we have been corrupted by billionaires and big corporations because the Supreme Court changed the rules of the game. They moved the goalposts.